So, Raj sir, shall I start?
Yeah, give me a minute. Just it's going on a live, so both the things will be not there.
Okay. I've just shared my screen.
Yes, sir. So,
So, Raj sir, shall I start?
yeah,
Yeah, give me a minute.
we can
Just
start.
it's going on a live, so both the things will be not there.
We can go, sir.
Okay, fine. So, good evening, everyone. Today's topic of our discussion is career opportunities after clearing your UPSC Civil Services examinations, right? So, I will be bilingual. I will be speaking in English and Hindi so that everyone understands it, right? My introduction at first, myself, Nikhil Nangude. I am director and faculty member at Kukan's Wisdom Academy, Pune right now, as well as I am a educator at An Academy, the online learning platform. I've been teaching for UPSC since past 12 years in Nyan Probodhini. I started with Nyan Probodhini in Pune, and then obviously I shifted to my own academy, Kukan's Wisdom Academy. Okay, so today's point of discussion is for the new aspirants, okay, who might be in just their undergraduate years, who are just thinking of, what is UPSC? I want to do UPSC. I want to get into the services, etc. Now, remember, we are all aware of generally IS, IPS, and IFS. Okay, these are the three services which many students are aware of, right? IS, IPS, IFS. But UPSC Civil Services offer opportunity much beyond that. So today we are going to discuss the major services which you could land into after you clear the UPSC Civil Services examination. See, your main aim might be always you want to become an IS or IPS, etc. But it's not that you will always land into IS or IPS only. Okay, but mind well, all other services are also equally rewarding. Okay, that is what I want to put forward through this discussion. Okay, so let's move forward. So first, what is UPSC? UPSC, that is Union Public Service Commission. It is a constitutional body created by Article 315 or a constitution. Okay, constitutional means anybody which is directly created by a particular article in the constitution, that is called as a constitutional body. So it's a constitutional body, UPSC. Okay, 315 article. Now, what does this UPSC do? It is a body which conducts examination for various posts, right? And out of that, civil services examination is one of the examinations. So there are many other examinations which are also conducted by UPSC. Out of this is one of the examinations, right, which we are going to discuss today. Now, once you clear this civil services examination, then you will land into different types of services which are broadly classified into two types, something called as all India services and something called as central services. These are the two broader categories of the services. Okay, now what is meant by all India services? So, okay, so let's go to them first. First we'll discuss the all India services, right? Okay, so we do have these three all India services in India, okay, which are filled through the post by or the examination through civil services. Yeah. Now, before I move forward, I will tell you that we will have a question answer session at the end. So first I will discuss whatever I want to discuss, and then the session will be open to you. You can ask any questions you want to ask. Okay, any questions with respect to the career opportunities. Now, what is meant by an all India service? All India service means in this service there is dual control. Okay, so the officers of these services, they are recruited and trained by the central government, that is the government of India, whereas they are then sent to different state governments, okay, for their services. So there is a dual control on these officers. Okay, so UPSC is a central body. It will be conducting the examination. These officers will be selected, then they will be trained by Department of Personnel Training, which is again a department of Ministry of Human Resource and Department, Government of India, that is central government. all the pay scales, service rules, etc. will be framed by the central government. But once you get into these services, might be IAS, Indian Administrative Service, or Police Service, or Forest Service, then you will be allotted to different state cadres. So suppose you get into IAS, then few of you will be allotted to say Maharashtra cadre, few of you might be allotted to Jharkhand cadre, few of you might be allotted to say Bihar cadre. So once you go to those respective states, then those state governments will control you with respect to your posting in the states. Okay. So once you are suppose in Maharashtra, then whether you are to be made a collector of Pune or whether you have to be made a collector of say Solapur, that will be decided by the state government. The central government will not interfere in these local matters. But your service conditions, your payment details, etc., will always be controlled by the central government. So it is said that these services, these all India services, they have dual control. Why dual control? Because you are ultimately the servant of the central government, but your immediate control lies with the state governments. Okay. Now there are three in this. What are these three? Let's discuss them in detail. One is Indian Administrative Services. Okay, I see a hand being raised. Sheetal. So Raj sir, shall we take questions in between or shall we have all the questions at the end? What do you suggest?
Sir, as you feel good, sir. So we can have the questions now also. If they feel that.
Okay, because perhaps okay, fine. We'll have bit questions. I think Sheetal has raised a hand. Does she want to ask anything? Will you allow her?
Yeah. So probably you have the host control.
Could you please do it for me because I have shared the screen, so I am finding it a bit difficult to do it.
You can have. Yeah. So what happens is that the my host controls are gone to you.
Okay, no issues.
You are the
Okay,
host.
what I would suggest is then Sheetal, please could you hold on for say half an hour? I will finish up with my discussion
Opening a
and
chat
then we
window.
could take all the questions one by after the another. Okay,
Yeah.
please do hold on for a half an hour till I finish my discussion. Okay, please do
Sorry.
note down your questions in a diary you might be having or just on a page, right? And then I will certainly answer all those questions. So Indian Administrative Services. So see, how do you land into these different services, right? These are all India services, and then you also have the other services, right? Like the central services. Okay. So these are the different central services which we are going to discuss. So what happens is after you give your UPSC examination, right, a final merit list is prepared. The way a merit list is prepared after your 10th examination, right? The 10वीं की एग्जाम के बाद जैसी मेरिट लिस्ट बनती है आपकी 11वीं की एडमिशन के लिए, उसी तरह after your UPSC Civil Services examination, all your stages are completed, mains, interview, etc. Your final merit list is prepared, and depending upon your rank in the merit list, you will be allotted the service of your choice. So obviously, that person who is higher up in that merit list, he will get the सर्विस ऑफ हिज फर्स्ट प्रेफरेंस, राइट? सो जिसका ज्यादा नंबर आएगा, जो ज्यादा ऊपर रहेगा मेरिट लिस्ट में, उसको उसकी पहली प्रेफरेंस की सर्विस मिलेगी. अगर आप नीचे हो तो शायद दूसरी प्रेफरेंस की मिलेगी, फिर उससे भी नीचे हो तो शायद तीसरी प्रेफरेंस की मिलेगी. So it's as simple as that. The thing that happens after your 10th examination, it's as simple as that. Okay. Now, Kajal, I can see that you have raised your hand. I would suggest that please note down your question on a page of paper, on a piece of paper, and I will answer all your questions at the end. Okay. So, so Indian Administrative Service is the service which many people they aspire to get into, right? Once this you get into this service, then you will be posted as a deputy collector in a particular department after you in the revenue department after you undergo the training of 2 years, right? So once you are selected in this service, you will be sent for training at Labasna, that is Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy of Administration, which is located at Mussoorie in Uttarakhand. Okay, a very prestigious institute. So over there, these Indian administrative service officers will undergo a training. Okay. So first 4 months of foundational training. then a 3 months of a specialized training for the IS, then there is a 12 months of no, training on the job, wherein you will be sent to the different states where you are selected, right? And then afterwards again you will have a training of in classroom training of 3 to 4 months. So in that way, full 24 months training is done, right? And after that 24 months training, you will be allotted to Indian Administrative Service. You could be posted as a deputy collector anywhere, right? And from there onwards you will start your journey. Now Indian Administrative Service is a very generalist service, right? It is a service which many people want to get into. You could be posted into any departments, okay? Any departments you could be posted after you start rising, okay, through the hierarchy. It's a generalist administrative service. Then the second service, Indian Police Service, again an important service. Many of you might be aware of this. Indian Police Service, again, it is an all India service, means it is controlled by the central government. Ultimate control is with the central government, but your immediate control will with the state governments, right? So if you are given, say, UP cadre, then whether you are to be made an SP in Lucknow or some another post, say commissioner in some city, Noida, that will be decided by the UP government. But your service pay scales, etc., that will be decided by the central government. You will be ultimately the officer of central government. Now, once you are posted in this service, IPS, suppose, then you will be doing a foundational course along with your batchmate of IS at Lal Bahadur Shastri Academy, Administrative Academy at Mussoorie, Uttarakhand for initial 4 months. After this 4 months of foundational course, then you will be sent to the National Police Academy, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel National Police Academy, which is located in Hyderabad. And there you will get your specialized training. Okay, so all your arms training, physical training, police laws training, etc., that specialized training will be done at your Hyderabad Academy, right? Then the third is Indian Forest Service. Now, this Indian Forest Service, uh, this service has got common prelims along with other civil services examinations, but the mains of this particular examination, that is different. Okay, so it has got a different syllabus for the mains. Only the prelims is common with the Indian Civil Services examination. So those candidates who opt for giving Indian Forest Service also, they will be required to appear for two mains. Okay, so everyone can opt for it. Generally, majority of the candidates, they generally just opt for Indian Civil Services, whereas Forest Service, few specialized candidates, they do opt for it. Now let's move to the next service. Yeah. Now these are the different central services. Okay. Now we were earlier talking about all India services. Now these are the central services. Now what is meant by central services? Central services means those services in which the candidate is recruited by the central government, trained by the central government, as well as that candidate or that officer will always remain an employee of the central government only. The state governments, they do not have any role with respect to the central service officers. Okay, so suppose I mean, the officers of these different services could be posted anywhere in India. So suppose there is an income tax office in Mumbai also, there is an income tax office in Bangalore also, one in Chennai also. So say a person from Indian Revenue Service could be posted at Mumbai or Bangalore or Chennai, but even the chief ministers of this state can't give any order to these officers. These officers will receive their orders from their hierarchy, which will be ultimately controlled by the central ministry, respective central ministry. Okay, so which ministries we will discuss now in detail. So the first and important and very prestigious amongst the central services is Indian Foreign Service. Now, very, very important service. See, many of the people are not aware of this service. Now, if you get selected, right, through UPSC, and if you are posted in this Indian Foreign Service, then you will get to serve India overseas. Okay, you could be posted in the embassies that India is having worldwide. See, each and every country has got embassy in each and every other country. So similarly, India is also having embassies everywhere. So if you are selected in this, you could be posted in say USA, you could be posted in Germany, you could be posted in France, Japan, China, even Pakistan, Bangladesh, any country you could be posted, right? A very prestigious service. Now this service is playing more important role nowadays because the entire world has got integrated. The economy is integrated. The international relations have become very important, right? Just to give you an example, now see, we many times see that our PM visits say 4 days, 4 nations in 4 days and signs 4 agreements and he comes back. But signing an agreement, do you think it's so easy? No, not at all. Just to sign one agreement, a good work of say 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, even 1 year, 2 year has been done earlier, okay, in which many negotiations are done, many bargainings are done, and these members of this Indian Foreign Service are highly involved in such negotiations. So they are very, very much, important service from the point of view of India's foreign relations. And mind well, foreign relations have become so important nowadays that if you crack a good, say, economic deal with a particular country, that cracking of good economic deal could be directly helping a farmer in your country or a common citizen of your country. So no more international relations are no something separate from which is impacting the common man. That the decisions taken at foreign level are certainly impacting the foreign person, the common person in India also. So certainly by being in this service, you can serve your country also. And a very elitist service controlled by the Ministry of External Affairs. Nowhere are you coming in touch with any other ministry apart from the Ministry of External Affairs. Okay. The next is Indian Revenue Service. Now this Indian Revenue Service, as I have mentioned, can is of two types. Here you can see Indian Revenue Service Income Tax and Indian Revenue Service Customs, Indirect Taxes and Narcotics. Right. So if you are selected in this Indian Revenue Service Income Tax, right? Okay, I forgot to mention one thing. These officers of Indian Foreign Service, they will be also going a common foundational training with their batchmates from IS and IPS at Lal Bahadur Shastri Administrative Academy at Mussoorie, Uttarakhand. And after those 4 months of initial foundational training, then they will shift back to their Foreign Training Academy, okay, Foreign Services Training Academy, which is located at New Delhi. And this Indian Foreign Service IFS has got the longest training period of 3 years. Okay, longest training period of 3 years. Then IPS has got of 27 months. IS has got of 24 months. That is 2 years, which is round about same for all other services. Okay, this is having the longest training period. Now, Indian Revenue Service, coming back to it, if you are selected in this service, IRS, IT, that is Indian Revenue Service Income Tax, then again you will be going a 4 months foundational course along with your batchmates at Mussoorie, and then you will be sent to this. They have a separate training institute at Nagpur, okay, which is located in Maharashtra, right? National Academy of Direct Taxes, which is located at Nagpur in Maharashtra, wherein you will be given specialized training with respect to income tax laws. Now, again, this service is playing a very important role. See, what are these people doing? They are assessing the income side of the government, right? They are taking care or ensuring that the treasury of the government always really remains full. Okay, because unless and until government doesn't have money, certainly government can't implement any of their programs. So certainly, in a way, they are also providing a very valuable service to the government and the citizens ultimately, because government is going to implement various social service schemes through these money which is collected by these Indian Revenue Service officers. So again, your first posting over here will be Assistant Commissioner Income Tax, right? And the beauty of this service is that you might be aware, if some of you might have visited any this income tax office, it's totally digitalized. Okay, you will get a feel of entering certain corporate office of a IT firm. Okay, it's totally digitalized, paperless office. Everything with respect to income tax is nowadays done online. Everything online. Even the queries are raised online. Their solution is also given online. Okay. Then we have Indian Revenue Service IRS, customs, indirect tax, and narcotics. Okay, so customs means whatever things we import or export, customs duties are imposed on that. So these people will be dealing with those custom duties. And the indirect taxes. Indirect taxes means which are levied on the sale of goods and services. So something like GST. Okay, goods and services tax. So the collection and implementation of those indirect taxes will be done by them, as well as narcotics. Narcotics means what? Drugs. Okay, so drugs are allowed to be grown in India for medicinal purposes only. So the licensing of these drugs, okay, or whether we are importing certain drugs, exporting certain drugs, etc., only and only for medicinal purposes or other purposes which might be authorized by government of India. So all that monitoring is done by these people of Indian Revenue Service, customs, indirect tax, and narcotics. Again, once you are placed in these services, you will be getting the first post, which will be equivalent to Indian Assistant Commissioner, Customs, Indirect Tax, and Narcotics. Okay. In fact, any of the service you might land after you complete your 2 years of training, the first position that you will be occupying, which will be equivalent to Assistant Commissioner. Only your department will be different. Your work might differ, right? The job you need to perform might differ. The people which you might meet might differ, but your posting will be equivalent to Assistant Commissioner. Now, mind well, that is a very high posting at a tender age of 23, 24, right? Okay. Now, next service that I am going to talk about is Indian Corporate Law Service, ICLS. Okay, again, a very important service. Okay, before that, these two services, Indian Revenue Service IT and Indian Revenue Service Customs, Indirect Tax and Narcotics, they come under the Ministry of Finance. Okay, so Ministry of the Finance, Government of India is the controlling ministry for these two services. Now, coming to Indian Corporate Law Service, ICLS. Now, this is comparatively a new service which was added to the list of civil services examination in 2008. The first batch of the officers was selected in 2009, right? Exam conducted in 2008. So obviously training began in 2009. Now see, all of you might be aware that we went for LPG era, that is liberalization, privatization, and globalization in 1991, right? That is, we opened our economy and integrated it with the world economy. So right now, the private sector has increased in India. Prior to that, the government sector had a monopoly in many areas in India. The private sector was restricted and controlled. But right now, in 2020, okay, since 1991 onwards, slowly the private sector has expanded a lot. We have many private sector companies come up from Indians only. Many foreign companies have also come and started their operations in India. Now, mind well, all of these companies are to be regulated by government. They have to follow all the rules and regulations of government of India. Okay, now who will implement these? So this is a specialized service, Indian Corporate Law Service, which is responsible for implementing the government laws. Okay, or which is responsible for getting the private sector comply with the government laws. So the Indian Corporate Act, the Indian Companies Act 1956 is there, Indian Companies Act 2013 is there, then other acts, whatever might be, whatever compliances are required, okay, the officers of this Indian Corporate Law Service, they will be making the private sector follow those compliances. Again, a very good service. Every company, believe me, every company, it might be a big company like Reliance Industries, might be Tata Industries, might be Infosys, might be Wipro, might be a multinational like Microsoft or Facebook, which is coming and setting up of office over here, or IBM or Mercedes Benz or any company you name it. If it is operating in India, it has to work as per the laws of India. And these are the people, Indian Corporate Law Service officers, who make sure that these companies follow the laws of India. So again, a very good service to be in. Okay, again, totally corporatized, totally digitalized service, right? Then the officers, now again, all of these officers, they will be going for initial 4 months of foundational training with all other counterparts, IAS, IPS, IFS, IRS, etc. at Mussoorie. And after those 4 months of foundational training, then they will be sent to their own training academy, that is your Indian Corporate Law Service Academy, which is located at Manesar in Haryana. Okay, and then there they will have their specialized training with respect to their office. See, this foundation training is common to everyone. In that foundational training, general aspects are taught to these students. Okay, basics about India, basics about Indian constitution, basics about communication, team building is being done, treks are being held, different games are being taken. So a sense of brotherhood, a fraternityhood has been tried to develop among the candidates of different services. Okay, then let's move to the next service, Indian Trade Service, ITS. Now, again, a very important service. See, right now we are facing this COVID-19 situation, the corona pandemic. The entire world has come to a halt. Why? Because this virus got transmitted from one place to another. But prior to that, also, before this virus was transmitted to many other countries, even when it was had just hit China in the month of December end and Jan, many other industries in different parts of world apart from China had also come to halt. Why? Because China supplies basic raw materials to many of the other countries. And since this raw material was not supplied by China, many other companies in other countries were also came to halt. So now this international, so that shows that international trade is now a reality. So the members of this Indian Trade Service, they take care of this international trade. So what they do is they are involved in the negotiations which India might be having with different countries with respect to signing any particular agreements of trade. They also will be making a very important role when India is signing certain agreements with World Trade Organization or the International Monetary Fund with respect to any trade things. Okay, plus they are also responsible for promoting international trade through India. So they have offices throughout the length and breadth of India, and they will be helping all the Indian citizens to promote their exports, or even if they want to import something. So right from a farmer who might be interested in exporting, say, grapes, so farmer might be from Nashik, or mangoes from, say, Ratnagiri, to a person maybe who is involved in construction industry and who wants to import tiles from China. So these people, they will be granting licenses to them, they will be helping them to get all the required permissions from the government, and in that way this service helps in promoting the imports and exports of India. Again, a very, very important service. Okay, now these people, as a, will be also going a common foundational training with all of the other batchmates for initial 4 months at Mussoorie, right? And then they will be trained at their Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, which is located at New Delhi. So over there, they will get specialized training with respect to their own service, right? The next is Indian Defense State Service, IDES. Now remember, in India, there is something called as cantonment boards. I hope you might have heard about this, right? Cantonment boards, Lashkari Chhaunya. Huh? Say, for example, if you take the example of Pune, right? In Pune, there are three cantonment boards. One is Pune Cantonment Board, second is Khadki Cantonment Board, third is Dehu Cantonment Board. Okay, so in this way, we are having total 66 Sahasrashtra cantonment boards throughout India. Now, what is this cantonment board? Cantonment board is an area where the military has got larger presence. So the military has got their major offices over there, and lot of military people are residing over there. Now, even if that area is specially made for the military personnel, civilian population also resides over there. Yes, obviously, right? There will be markets created by civilian population, services provided by civilian population, etc. So now over here in these cantonment boards, there is dual type of control. For the control and administration of the military personnel, there is a military officer. Okay, so the commanding officer of that cantonment board, he controls and administers the military personnel, generally of a rank of, say, brigadier or above that. But for the civilian population who is living over there, we have a CEO who is appointed, Chief Executive Officer. So in this cantonment boards, there are regular elections held. the way elections are held in a municipal corporation, right? We all know there are municipal corporation in big cities. Say Pune has got a municipal corporation, Delhi has got a municipal corporation, Chennai has got a municipal corporation. Now, who is the head of this municipal corporation? It is the municipal commissioner. Okay, and who is the municipal commissioner? He is appointed from IAS. So once a person becomes senior, he has served for 15 to 20 years in IAS, that person might be appointed as a municipal commissioner of a particular city. Now, in the similar way, for a cantonment board, there is a CEO, and that CEO is selected from this service, that is Indian Defense State Service. Okay, so it's something like, this service is something like you are an IS of that cantonment board. Okay, so you will be doing exactly those same functions which a IS does when he is appointed as a municipal commissioner of a particular city. That same functions will be done by a member of this Indian Defense State Service, but only that area is restricted to that cantonment board. So it is as good as an IS of cantonment board. And once you have served there, then obviously you will, be promoted to the higher echelons. And who controls this particular service? It is controlled by the Ministry of Defense. Now again, these people will also go a common training along with other batchmates, a foundational training at Missouri, and then they will be sent to their own training institute, which is National Institute of Defense State Management. Okay, there they will go undergo their own training, right? Now let's go to the next service, the Indian Railway Traffic Service. Again, a very important service, IRTS. Now see, all of you are aware of railways, but generally a common person, he comes in contact with only two types of railway officers. One, the person who is issuing tickets, and second, the ticket checker. Okay, generally these are the two personals only whom which we generally come in contact. But just imagine, India almost 3000 kilometers in length and 3000 kilometers in breadth, right? North south almost 3000 kilometers, east west almost 3000 kilometers. It is having lakhs of kilometers of railway lines. And every moment, right now, at this moment also, when we are speaking, thousands of trains, not right now because due to COVID-19 situation, the trains have been halted. But otherwise, when the trains are on, for every second, thousands of trains are moving on these tracks. And on that same track, different trains are moving at different distances. So this is a huge logistic management thing, right? And apart from the passenger traffic, which we are generally aware of, freight traffic, that is movement of goods from one place to another, is a very important role which is played by railways. Now these officers, the Indian Railway Traffic Service officers, they take care of this logistic movement, right? Believe me, it's a very, very, very important role played by them. Indian Railways is said to have the second largest estate in India after the Ministry of Defense, right? So all management of those estates, construction of different things that are required for railways, management of that freights is done by the members of this Indian Railway Traffic Service. A very, very important and challenging job. Okay. Now these people also initially they will go undergo the foundational training with other batchmates at Missouri, and after that has been done, then they will be sent to their Indian Railways Institute for Transportation Management, okay, which is located at Lucknow in Uttar Pradesh. There they will undergo the specialized training required for railways, and then they will be starting their jobs. Okay. The next is Indian Ordnance Factory Service, IOFS. Now, ordnance. What is meant by ordnance? Ordnance means ammunition. Okay, Darugoda. So in India, we are having totally 41 ammunition factories. Okay, 41 ammunition factories है भारत में. So where different type of ammunition is made. In some factories, bullets are made for AK-47. In some factories, some parts for missiles are made. In some factories, bulletproof jackets are made. So very, very important role they are playing with respect to our defense preparedness, right? So see, our soldiers can't fight if they don't have proper arms and ammunition and protective gear. So the service of these officers is also very, very important. Okay, these factories is very, very important. So if you are placed into this service, that is Indian Ordnance Factory Service, IOFS, then perhaps you will be posted into these different 41 factories, right? And again, your post will be equivalent to assistant commissioner. So whatever hierarchy, whatever name of the post might be there in those factories, equivalent to assistant commissioner, that you would be occupying a higher managerial post. Again, a very important role, because if, as I said, if arms and ammunitions are not available, our soldiers can't win the war for us, right? Again, these members will also go foundation training at Missouri, and then they will go to their own specialized academy, which is National Academy of Defense Production, okay, which is again located at Nagpur, Maharashtra. And then after that training, they will be starting their job. Next important service is Indian Audit and Account Service, IAAS. Now this service, yeah, I forgot to mention two things. Obviously, Indian Railway Traffic Service will be controlled by the Ministry of Railways. Indian Ordnance Factory Service will be controlled by the Defense Ministry. Okay. Indian Audit and Account Service. Now, this is a specialized service, okay, which comes under Comptroller and Auditor General of India, CAG. A very important office in India. You might have heard this CAG when this 2G scam, coal scam, etc. came out. All these scams were highlighted by a report given by CAG. So again, Comptroller and Auditor General, CAG, is a constitutional body, constitutional authority created by the Constitution of India by virtue of Article 148. Now, what is the role of this CAG? This CAG will be auditing all the accounts of the central government as well as the state government. So all the central government, all the ministries, as well as all the state governments in India, all the 28 states and the union territories, their accounts will be audited by the officers of this CAG, as well as the account keeping of the state governments is also done by the officers of this CAG. So if you are placed in this Indian Audit and Account Service, you will be serving this CAG in different capacities. So you might be sent to check the accounts of any department. It might happen. Okay, you might be sent to check the accounts, audit the accounts of maybe central ministries or maybe any of the state governments. Okay, again directly serving under Comptroller and Auditor General of India. Then yes, Swarali, we will take questions. I am about to finish in another 5 minutes, and then I will leave the session open to you, wherein I will take all of your questions. Okay. Then we have Indian Postal Service. Again, Post Department, you all are aware of, but again, we have just come in contact with maybe the postmaster or the postman who comes to deliver our particular whatever courier. So this is again Indian Postal Service, a very important service. uh, if you are selected or placed into this service, you will be heading the postal department at the district level. Something equivalent to a deputy collector will be your first posting in this particular service. Again, same thing, 4 months of common training with the members of other services as Missouri, and then you will be sent to your National Postal Academy, which is situated at Ghaziabad, right? And then another important, Group A and Group B services of union territories. Now, this is very important. Now, see, every state government has got its own public service commission, the way UPSC is there for central services, right? Say, for example, in Maharashtra, there is Maharashtra Public Service Commission. In Gujarat, there might be Gujarat Public Service Commission. In Karnataka, there will be Karnataka Public Service Commission. Now, what is the role of these state public service commissions? These state public service commissions do make recruitments to their own state services. So the highest post that is filled through say MPSC, that is Maharashtra Public Service Commission, is that of deputy collector. Then we have something called as DYSP. Then we have something called as Tahsildar, right? So every state government is filling this class A and class B services through their own service commissions. But then what will happen about union territories? The union territories don't have their own service commissions. So what they do is all the group A post of the union territories and group B post of union territories, that is posts which are equivalent to DC, deputy collector, or DYSP, or Tahsildar, or Nayab Tahsildar, which are generally filled by those state public service commissions. Those posts from union territories are again added to your UPSC list. And suppose you are placed into these services, then perhaps you will be serving as those officers in those respective union territories. So you might be placed in Delhi, you might be placed in Andaman Nicobar, you might be placed in say Lakshadweep, or Chandigarh or Diu and Daman. Again, very good services. You will be directly controlled by the state government since union territories fall under state governments. Okay. So these were few important services that I wanted to talk about. These 11 services and the earlier one which we saw about the All India services also we saw these three services. Okay, so 14 services. Apart from this, if the government wants few other services to be filled, they are also added to this. But these are the major services, right? Almost 80 to 85% of the posts of UPSC will be occupied by these services. Another 10, 15 to 20% of the services might be coming in and out on an in and out on as per the requirements of different ministries of the government. Now, why this discussion is important, according to me, is that see, all of us want to get into IS, all of us want to get into IPS, right? So that is what we all want to do, right? So that's good. We should always aim to get into IS, IPS, etc. But at that same time, we should be also aware that it might happen that we don't land into IS or IPS, and we might land into some another services like revenue service or trade service or ordinance service or an audit service. So if we are aware of this in the beginning only, perhaps we will have less heartburns at the end if we land into any of these services. And second thing, which is more important, which I want to highlight is even these services provide you equally rewarding opportunities for your career growth as well as an opportunity to serve the country. In all of these services, you will be placed into class A category. It is a class 1 service only. Only your department is different. The people you will be meeting will be different. The role will be perhaps different. We are generally aware of IS and IPS more because they have more public interface. And since our childhood, we have seen these people, right? Means district collector or police officer or any officer from revenue department is known to everyone, right? So that is what I wanted to emphasize. Okay. Another important thing I would like to mention, and then I will leave this session open for your question, is that if you want to appear for UPSC, please, every one of us should be ready to serve anywhere in India. Okay, it is not likely that you will be 100% posted in Maharashtra only. And if you want to get your Maharashtra cadre only, then try to top the services. Then you have high chances of getting Maharashtra cadre. If you are opting for Indian Foreign Service, then obviously you should be ready to go and serve outside India also. Now, again, as I said, very good service to be in nowadays. Okay. So with this, I would like to leave the question open, this particular session open. I think that that time would be better to answer this question. Then MPSA Group A, which services are included? Prajakta, MPSA Group A, you have your Deputy Collector, you have your DYSP, you have Tahsildar, you have Assistant Commissioner Sales Tax. So these are the services which are included in that. Okay, fine. So now I would know let you ask the questions. If anyone of you place roughly about 3.5 months to 4 months from your prelims date, right? So there is a gap of 3.5 to 4 months between your prelims and mains. So somewhere around September end, the mains takes place. And then the interviews, they start from say December end and they continue right up till say February end. And then the final result is declared somewhere in May mid. That is generally the of them has got the same syllabus. You have to appear for one examination only, one prelims only. After you clear that prelims, one mains only, common mains. After you clear that mains, common interview. And after you get selected through this entire process, depending upon the rank in the final list, you will be allotted to different services. Okay. So the same syllabus of UPSC Civil Services is there for it also. Okay. I will discuss about it in detail in day after tomorrow's lecture because that will take a lot of time now. Okay. Then Kaustubh has asked, can you please guide us about prelims, mains, and interviews? Same answer to you, Kaustubh. Please be present on the session to be conducted on 17. This your question is the main topic for 17th session. Okay, I am going to discuss about prelims, mains, and interview only over there. Okay, then
So one more, a couple of people are asking about what is Labasna, what is NPA. If you can share some information, maybe. So I would suggest if you can send, share photos or maybe in the Google you can find it out. So you can give more information about Labasna and NPA. People are asking about that.
Okay. See, Labasna, that is your Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy of Administration. It's a premier institute which is involved in conducting foundation courses for the candidates of all the services. So whether you might be placed in any of the services, all of you will be first spending the many of the ministers will be coming over there, or you will be taken to New Delhi and you will be having personal meetings with them. Then all the top-notch professors from top-notch institutes like IIM Ahmedabad, IITs, Indian Institute of Science, Indian Institute of Film and Television, all the top-notch institutes which you just might have heard of. People from there will be coming and interacting with you. Top-notch actors like say Amitabh Bachchan, Amir Khan, Salman Khan, whatever means those who are available and as per the programs that are there. So actors will be coming and interacting with you. Sports persons again from some good cricketers, football players, Mary Kom, etc. These people will be coming and interacting with you. You will be exposed to a lot of mountaineering, hiking in Himalayas, etc. See, the idea is basically to develop the overall personality of a human being. So people from different institutes, scientists will be coming and interacting with you, artists will be coming and interacting with you. They will be academies. Okay. But right now, I would suggest you please uh, prepare for the exam. That's more important.
And sir, some light on NPA also. People.
Okay, NPA, National Police Academy, NPA. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel National Police Academy. That is the full name of that academy, which is located at Hyderabad. Again, one of the most premium institutes in India, which gives specialized training to the IPS candidates. Right now, IPS candidates, their training, believe me, it's really very vigorous. After you complete your 4 months of foundation training at Masuri, which is combat, but over here the IPS people, it's a mix of combat and management. Because if you are placed into IPS, it's not that you are going to run after the thief every now and then, but you are going to manage a huge police force under you. So first posting, if you are posted in rural area to face, so that training is also given to them very well. They also have different attachments with army, etc., wherein that training is more enhanced to them. Right. Apart from this, each and every service also has got a foreign visit. Okay, so many times these IS people, they are taken to this academy, I mean administrative academy of Singapore. IPS people, they are taken to Israel. Get into this IS, IPS, IFS, etc. All of this, you also get a very good opportunity if you are also willing to undergo further education from, and that will be totally sponsored by government of India. So you might be placed in Harvard, you might be placed in Oxford, you might be placed in MIT, the premier institutes world over which you might have just heard of. You could be placed over there by government of India. Total no, I mean expenses taken care by government of India. You will be paid when you will be studying. Why? Because when your knowledge increases, obviously that is going to benefit the administration also. Because after you complete those courses over there, maybe in IIM Ahmedabad, or maybe in Harvard, or maybe in Stanford, or maybe in Oxford.
In a webinar series. So, for
Yes,
example,
yes.
which books, what is the exam patterns, and there are many questions about optionals and interviews and all. So, I believe that all the students there is a then probably will take the session. So that's from my end. Probably you end this session with a few of words from your end.
Yes, so really like to interact with all of you. Hope you will be more interactive next time. You can also, ask me questions directly. Okay, there is a provision. Okay, so you can ask me questions also directly. Probably next time you do come with your questions. And stay safe, stay home. Right now, COVID-19 situation is emerging really bad in India. So we are taking good measures, but remaining home is the best way to defeat it right now. Regarding UPSC, I will be also discussing about what you need to do right now, even if you might not have started preparation right now. So what you could do that also I will be dealing with you. That will be also I will be discussing with